Oh, yeah, so there's two options. Either they just go for the Drave and Nami again, but Lulu this time isn't banned, so I will also be very Gen.G to just respond with Zeri Lulu.
Or Felios Lulu.
Yeah, which is everyone's favorite matchup. It's going to be the Varus instead, would make sense. Varus has been, I think, relatively low prior for the series. I think we saw Ben in the first one.
It was picked up in the first game.
It was picked up.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the Ashe Varus.
Oh, yeah,
Fnatic, yeah.
I'm blanking on that one. But what Gen.G has as responses here is probably the Lucian Nami.
Could certainly be
I
an
would
option.
imagine it's most
They
obvious.
could do Lucian Xin as well if they want. Okay, no, they want to grab the Nami. They don't want to run that risk of getting it taken away. So the question now is, do Fnatic want to do the Ashe pair up like they did in game 1? And then Fnatic can also round out their draft with the Xin again. I think Razork did have a great game on the Xin.
Yeah.
It was difficult for him to find any early ganks because of the amount of vision control that we saw coming out from Gen.G, but overall, an impressive performance from him, so I don't think he should be deterred from picking it away, even though we did see Canyon's Kha'Zix have a pretty strong early game overall, even if he tapered off later on into the game.
Yeah, I would say that getting Canyon back onto the Kha'Zix again sounds like a pretty good idea for Fnatic. As Saya, okay.
Oh, it's a lane swap.
Yeah,
It's,
well, it was already looking like a lane swap. That was what I was about to start talking about. But now with the Sion coming in, I have a feeling it is a guaranteed lane swap scenario.
I wonder, though, if they want to try and go for something even more aggressive. We saw, I think it was like a year and a half back, some very aggressive jungle invades with the Sion as well.
Oh, yeah. The good old T1 Challenger Sion.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra cheese available with the Sion.
Yeah, Europe was inspired by the LCK challenges. It was BDS domestically that was actually doing the split map into stealing away the bot side camps into then a 4-man dive, utilizing the Sion passive as well.
We might see that here.
They did try it against Top eSports, I believe, but it was Top that actually fumbled their execution, and they basically just had Jackie Love come in and interrupt the invade, stopping the whole plan altogether. But Fnatic definitely have that as an option for them, so we'll keep a track to see if they set that up.
Well, bans coming through now for our second round. The Orion are going to be taken away from Humanoid. I really like that respect. I think Humanoid's been playing exceptionally well so far this series. Both his Talia and Oriana have been strong, so making sure that he is not on that level of comfort is a good idea. Speaking of comfort, no Corki for Chovy as well.
This
makes
music
a
is
fair bit of sense.
intense.
It is super intense.
We're building up nicely to Game 3, hoping that Fnatic can give us a few more games in this series.
We just want more League of Legends.
We do.
That's what we need.
Talia, as you rightly called out, Humanoid going to be playing something different in this game. We did get to see his LeBlanc in play-in, so we haven't seen it yet this series, but I would love to see it. Not that I expect it in this draft. I'm imagining something like an Azir is more likely to come through.
Is it like going to be Azir from Chovy and then the LeBlanc from Humanoid, maybe? Because I wonder, I don't know if they're gonna give counterpick to Chovy if Kiin, or I guess you're playing into Sion anyway. So
they're looking. So that Tristana bans is screaming at Azir.
It is kind of a no-brainer. So we were talking about
Kiin.
You guys have that over in the
Kiin.
Oh,
Look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Does he know that he's getting lane swapped on? Because he's getting lane swapped on.
I think they know, and I think that Kiin's just like, I saw Zeus have so much fun on this champion. It's my turn.
Also, to be fair, if they're able to manage the early, to navigate the early game, playing Sion into Vayne does sound like about the least fun you can have.
Humanoid
Man, love to see it.
It's gonna be Lee. Imagine Lee is the no-brainer up here.
Razork's Lee could also do the Xin.
Xin was also really good, and I wouldn't mind it at all. I think Xin also really good into Lucian, because you can eat Cullings without too much risk.
Well, this is...
Poppy could also be really good here. But I guess if you want a stronger mid-jungle, the Xin Zhao makes more sense. All right, so a very powerful mid-jungle duo coming out from Fnatic. Now, what's Chovy cooked up for us as an answer? I don't love Aurelion Sol into LeBlanc.
He's there's a little bit of a wry smile on his face, which I'm a little worried about, and instead we'll just the dragon once again, or the Azir. I think Azir is often something that Chovy gets bullied into playing by Gen.G. He's not necessarily been someone that said, I really like playing it. And Lehends will pick the dragon for him, so he's back on to having fun. And that confirms that Kiin is playing the Vayne in the top lane. And we also know, like we already knew, and I think that Gen.G also already knew that the lane swap was coming, but Fnatic do have a very powerful bottom lane, so I don't necessarily, like, it looked at the beginning of the draft like it's Gen.G that had the pressure on them to swap, and now it's feeling like it's the other way around. But the Sion's there, so Fnatic should be able to do it pretty well. I don't really understand, but I'm excited to find out.
I'm excited to find out. I'm very much expecting something like a split map to try and basically cut Canyon off from assisting the bot side of the map. But we'll see how things go. We look back to game 1, and even though the bot lane struggled from Gen.G, they were able to make their top lane work to perfection. And I think that the early investment into Grubs is something that when you give to a Vayne is going to be this massive side lane threat that I think even a LeBlanc is going to struggle to deal with, especially if we see that investment into the Hex Drinker from the Vayne too. So Gen.G maybe having a little bit more fun with this draft this time around. We'll see how things pan out for them. I'm excited as Fnatic jump onto the Rift for game 3.
It is feeling like this is the draft that Fnatic has the most winnability in. I don't know whether
Winnability?
yeah, that's what I'm going with.
It's real.
I'm going to lock that one
Trust
forward.
him.
And yeah, the Vayne from Kiin has not been tested. He has been a fantastic Quinn player in the past, and we do know Kiin in the distant past as a very powerful, aggressive top lane player, loved to play split push, but not necessarily in his time on Gen.G. Often it's tank duty as Fnatic make their way out as a 5-stack onto the Rift here. Backs against the wall. They need to win this game if they want to stand a chance in this series. And already, Chovy taking a bit of damage here, electrocuted as well from Humanoid.
Going to be forced back to base. Fnatic getting that early vision. We talked about the potential invade from Fnatic, trying to cut off Canyon from the bot side of the map, and it looks like they're going to have that option available to them. Great initial start. Gen.G immediately cross-mapping.
Yeah, you've got Lehends already on the top side of the map, so it looks like...
I mean, it's Gen.G actually sending their bot lane up towards top, knowing that this is coming.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, like, what are they going to do about Kiin? Because Kiin, unlike last game, is playing something that is very resource-intensive, that does really want to try and get into that 1v1. And right now, with the sign, the entire bottom half of the map is just inaccessible to Gen.G.
But here's Kiin. He can be a real nuisance here. Yeah,
and he's ghosting out immediately. There's the flash from Humanoid, and he absolutely had to do it.
You had to respect
forward,
that.
gives him the thumbs up.
This is a very common strategy when the swap does come through. The top lane is just going to be roaming around mid. We saw it from Oscar earlier. Humanoid now getting very low. You would expect Humanoid to be losing out on these trades during the early levels because LeBlanc really needs that level 3, the full combo, to be able to be threatening in the 1 versus 1. So Chovy going to have that pressure with Kiin hovering around, just going to make things even worse for Humanoid in the early levels.
You see there as well, it was the moment that Humanoid distortions in to try and get a good trade. Kiin was at the ready. Problem,
still
of course,
here.
yeah, still
He's
here.
not leaving.
That's going to be a whole lot missed because Oscarinin obviously being signed, I think particularly with Unsealed Spellbook, should be fine to, even if he ends up going down, like, if he is able to catch most of the wave, still not going to be too sad about it, but it looks like Kiin is instead just going to stick around here in mid.
Yeah, I don't know whether this strategy is necessarily going to work out, but I imagine Chovy's not super psyched about someone here potentially ruining up his farm.
You know this is coming.
Yeah.
But even if Oscar dies, he has the passive to be able to soak up a lot of the wave.
That's why this Sion is so incredibly powerful as he does charge up the Q. That is going to be the go button, and there is first blood going over to Peyz. And he just melted. Only level 1 here for the Sion. Now just trying to take at least the cannon. Will be able to get it.
He's going to get a lot of the wave too. Level 2 secured. Kiin going to soak up some of the farm. But of course, as we know, the bot lane tower is more susceptible to TP back in. For those that didn't get to watch the finals, Broken Blade did this exact thing against Fnatic, where the Sion just kept getting dived. It was Fnatic diving the Sion. Oscar's very familiar with this.
Yeah. Level 2 now, but he's still so incredibly squishy. The flash has to come out here from Canyon. As this jungle is not the greatest, as finally they'll be able to take him down. It was an execute onto Lehends. And so still not on the board yet for Fnatic, but Oscar is trying his best.
So big things here. Oscar is level 3. Was actually able, thanks to the passive and even with the TP back, to take a ton. But when it comes to the goal, because of the kills going over the Gen.G, and no kill actually being picked up on Lehends as he was executed, gold, at least for now, favorable, but I think the experience might be a little bit tough here. Kiin just now hit level 2, but won't have sums available.
I mean, crucially, Oscar's going to be able to go back to top lane once again. And it's true that Peyz off to a fantastic start, being able to secure those 2 kills. But I don't think Fnatic is too concerned about it. We'll see if I'll eat my words soon enough, given that a Lucian starting off this strong is always going to be a scary thing to have to deal with. But we look back at this, and the tower just does so much damage. It stacks up so quickly. There's the second shot onto Canyon, the third one onto a level 1 Kiin, and then the fourth one onto Lehends. Means that
he definitely didn't think he was going to die.
He did not think he was gonna
It was
die.
just the one shot.
Yeah, it was stacked up about 1,000,000 times because they had to spend so long underneath that turret. So nicely juggled there by Oscar, able to stay out of the way, avoid death, even though we saw that burst damage was absolutely massive. There's a flash from Jun, though. Immediate cleanse from Peyz just to stop that slow from coming on through. And yeah, the bubble is now down, and Peyz should be taken out. That is the shutdown onto Noah, and Fnatic making exactly the play they needed to.
Colossal mistake there from Peyz, giving over a shutdown to the lethality Varus. Jun arriving at the right time just as Peyz dashes in. Lehends tried to use the bubble to speed up Peyz so that the trade wasn't as bad. But as a result, Fnatic now with a gold lead.
I mean, Jun with such great awareness, knowing that the flash was burnt. Remember, weirdly enough, this was all set up by Oscar.
Yeah.
4 flashes were burned in the top lane trying to dive this man. Jun knew that, and so the second that they overstep in bot lane, level 6 for Humanoids.
Yeah, going to be able to stop the flight here from Chovy, who has to flash away. A lot of respect given here as he gets the 25 gold from the clone.
It took 2 games, but they're warmed up now, boys.
I reckon they are.
We're seeing this level of aggression from Humanoid. He finally gets revenge after game 1, where Chovy forces the flash out from him. Level 6 ticked over for Humanoid. He gets that summoner spell out from Chovy. And Fnatic playing with a level of confidence in this early game that we're yet to see from them in this series.
Something we also haven't really talked about yet is that the repeated dives from Canyon left him very low. He wasn't able to take a large part of his own jungle, so Razork has been able to pick up a huge lead when it comes to the experience as well as the CS. He was about to level up. He's going to hit 6 and have a big window there, although looks like Gen.G is just going to look for the cross map here with Canyon picking up the grubs, and the early Drake going over to Fnatic.
Yep, so they'll take the first Cloud here in this game. Not going to be a Cloud Soul, that makes me sad, but we'll see exactly what Soul opportunities we will have as this Dragon does go down. Kiin finally getting what he wanted, gentlemen. Some free time here on this top side, but Oscar has been set up rather well in this early game. Still holds himself a decent
This looks like
CS
a dive
advantage.
to me, boys.
Oh yeah. 4 versus 2 here, but Noah taking too much, and he will be taken out. Peyz answered as well, but a 1-for-1 is not what Fnatic were looking for. Still, Lehends should be taken out here, and it's a double kill for Humanoid. Exactly where they want that money to go.
A misplay from Noah to start off the dive, with Gen.G being able to get something back, but they convert it into 2, and it's Humanoid that secures both of those kills for Fnatic. A perfect position for the LeBlanc to be as we approach 8 minutes into the game.
It's going to make it so much harder for Gen.G to play out these side lanes, as this is what we've been talking about, the issues of Gen.G, and even with Noah messing up, taking aggro as he gets bubbled, ends up going down with the final turret shot. But with Humanoid still there, having subs available, and Razork hitting 6 off of that as well, more than enough damage available to get this LeBlanc even further out. Chovy, because of the earlier flash force, because he had to base, not able to actually make an impact early on. And also, to be fair, if there's a LeBlanc and a Xin Zhao that are out on the map, you can't really roam in good conscience. And Fnatic actually building up an early lead here.
Yeah, looking pretty nice so far. As Chovy just trying to stand his ground, does have his Giant Spell now completed. That Rylai's on the way. A bit of added tankiness, I guess, but he's not going to be that huge dragon that we were talking about in game number 2 for quite some time. And I love what Fnatic has as far as doing battle in this mid-game before the dragon really becomes that huge threat. As Oscar going to get stunned into the wall here momentarily, but he is, yeah, just pretty tanky. And he'll be all right.
Sitting with the Ignite right now with the spell book, knowing the situation that he's in. Needs to get a base in soon as Canyon hovering around bot.
That's a flash onto Noah, the tidal wave to layer the CC, and Lehends bubbles him to death. Canyon tanks up the turret for a little longer than he wants to, but Noah is just being targeted here by Gen.G.
Oh, the confidence from Canyon there, knows that Noah doesn't have his flash because of the earlier mishaps. Chovy!
Take your dragon for a walk, and Chovy's gonna be wiped out. Razork's the one that picks up the kill, and now Peyz in a bit of trouble himself, although it is just Jun. And now looking for a little bit more. The culling is going to come on through, and even with the barrier, that is not going to do it. Lehends, stop it! Stop it!
He will never stop Atlus, we both know.
We know that, yeah.
Lehends accidentally takes it. Oh, Humanoid doesn't have his flash.
Yeah, Kiin coming down once again. The contempt coming on through as now Humanoid trying to run his way out. Does try to be a little bit tricky, but they found the right one, and that is going to be the kill going over to the Vayne. That is not what Fnatic wanted.
And just like that, the confidence gets cut in half by Gen.G. They find a kill in mid, they find a play in bot, 3 kills back to back, just like that. Gen.G have closed the goal gap and all of a sudden reasserted themselves in this game.
Chovy, while that mid lane play was happening, Kiin for the second time this game makes Humanoid suffer. Chovy catches the wave on top side. And that gold lead that we were talking about earlier seemingly evaporated. Of course, Gen.G, not the biggest lead, but they're not going to feel too bad with how rough that early game was.
I mean, Canyon has been making moves on the map, obviously involved in those early dives, but we look back at this bot play, oh, we're not even going to get the chance, it's just going to be the culling execution.
Yeah, immediately levels up and immediately presses R and Jun dies. Just not a lot that he can do.
Nicely done that by the bot lane of Gen.G. And we didn't get to see it, but that beautiful drift from Canyon into the bot lane lands a great ultimate, has to commit the flash, but it was worth it. Lucian now with the fully completed first item in the static shiv. Noah trailing behind him. A lot of an experience advantage though, as 6 Scrub's gonna go in favor of Gen.G.
Yep, Noah also does still have a decent CS advantage, so this Varus isn't as far behind that, as these 2 deaths might tell you. As Peyz now dashing on top of Oscar. A fair bit of damage here, but does, of course, have the Soul Furnace. Has some ability to keep himself alive as the Decimating Smash coming on down. Lehends trying to augment this. Is the Ignite just going to be used to say, please leave me alone? It's going to acquiesce, at least for now.
And there with the swap, Noah and Jun showing up. They do deny Gen.G the full grubs. I don't know if that alone is enough as Arrow.
It is just going to hit him! He just walked into it. There are still minions here available, though, and he just dashes out of the way. Great ulti from Oscar, though, and Humanoid gets in there, takes down the Lucian. And that is a killing spree now for Humanoid, or at least close to, as Lehends has to tidal wave, and is now looking to try and speed himself up with the Tidecaller's Blessing. No flash available, though, now, and it's going to be another one. Shut down gold going to Humanoid as he kills the support.
And Fnatic again see the bot lane of Gen.G and go, we can take him. We can make it work. Jun sets it up, trying to make up for his last mistake, and man, does it pay off. Peyz going down, Lehends going down, and now the return gank from Gen.G.
Yep, Razork just trying to stop Canyon from getting down here, but Kiin, he wants it. Oscar might be able to get out, but Razork gonna have to die for his sins, as it turns out. That's gonna be Kiin grabbing that kill with the empowered tumble auto attack, and they'll take a dragon as well off the back end. We'll get to find out which soul we're gonna get this game.
Razork, I think he was hoping to buy enough time for Oscarinin to be able to TP back into the fight. Unfortunately for him, there wasn't enough Lehends.
Oh my god, okay, he just pops like a balloon. That is Chains of Corruption, but a great Captain Jack here from Peyz, as he does manage to get out of the way of the piercing arrow as well. The flash forward from Humanoid, not quite able to get the kill yet. He misses the chain, and they go 1 for 1. And now the skies are descending onto Noah once more. He'll be taken out also, and now it's Chovy just flying towards Jun, who is going to be swept up. And now the dragon is becoming a problem again.
Fnatic needs to chill out.
No, I love this, man. This is so hype.
They keep trying to force these skirmishes, and respect to Gen.G. I talked about it at the start of this series. Fnatic love to bring you down into the mud and fight where it is dirty. And Gen.G said, you know what, screw it, we'll meet you down there and let's go toe-to-toe. It starts with Lehends losing his life, and then it devolves into madness.
As Peyz with a great cleanse, Noah, the flash Q missing. So as a result, he almost ends up going down, and then Humanoid wants to ensure, I think he thought that he would get it, but with just the dash forward, not going to be enough. Chain's not hitting, and I am impressed by Fnatic because you know how little teams Gen.G goes this insane against?
Well, Kiin is going to have to get rid of this Sion. That was a good flash, exactly the angle he needed. And Lehends going to just get hit by an arrow in base. Well, like, sometimes you got to catch it. You know, he was playing catcher. Why? That's how it works in baseball, isn't it? There's always that guy that...
yeah, the guy that catches.
Yeah.
That's what Lehends is doing.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. Nailed it.
The bot lane of Gen.G has been involved in 6 of the team's 10 kills, but also all of the deaths.
Yeah.
All of the... Oh, except
well, actually,
the one
yeah,
Chovy
technically
has.
no.
There was an execution, that's why. I remember.
Lehends has 1 execute.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
I still think your point stands, though.
I would say it definitely.
It's not even flame, it's just more to the point that this game has all been about bot lane.
Yeah.
And like, we've seen, look, Fnatic's bot lane is exactly doing much better on the score department, right? So it's just been a bloodbath. And it's funny how, like, Noah's aggression really isn't converting into much, but it's benefiting massively for Humanoid. Now he needs to be the carry.
I think Lehends may just die again, but no, the chain is going to go wide, still gets a tidal wave out of them. And Chains of Corruption going to connect onto Peyz, who just sidesteps once again. Looks for a little bit more damage here as Razork pokes his head in, but it looks like Fnatic will just back away for now.
Just to prove how old I am as a caster, this Humanoid gameplay reminds me a lot of Faker back in 2013.
Oh.
Do you remember the old support killer Faker on LeBlanc, where he'd just sit in Fog of War and he'd just murder your support everywhere? It feels like Humanoid has come in and said, Lehends, I got a bone to pick with you, and he is just out for blood as he looks to try and kill this fish.
That's a really good game plan against Lehends.
Yeah, and that is a great interruption, but the ulti comes down. Chovy doesn't even look at the explosions of it now. Humanoid finds the backline once again. The chains will connect, and he will grab the execution, but he's going to have to sacrifice himself forward. And now Chovy going to get knocked up on the back end. I thought maybe it'd be his moment, but now Kiin making his way in. The condemn into the wall. The Xin Zhao's dead, and I think Kiin may just be able to wipe the rest of this one. Double 80 carries chasing after the Sion, but with the turret still up, he is going to be able to make his way out. Gen.G, I think they're pretty happy down here in the mud.
They certainly are. Really nice initiation from Gen.G, locking down the bot lane, setting up the Wombo combo with Canyon and Chovy. When Fnatic tried to find the re-engage, Gen.G just positioned better. Peyz is under really no threat, and you can see Chovy in the midst of all this madness still finds himself at 4-1-2 on his Space Dragon.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's the top side of Gen.G. You look at you guys, doing great. Keep it up. And the bot side of both teams, honestly, just going in, going aggressive. Here you see the threat of that Sejuani combined with Sol. It's a really nice bubble on Lehends, but because Frozen and Oscar, he doesn't have a way to keep himself alive. And this is where it gets a little bit silly as we see Humanoid maybe in trouble.
Yeah, continuing to get silly, but Razork is going to be here. Humanoid just going to turn it, and they just wipe out Kiin. Still, Canyon's pretty dangerous, but now it's Oscar turning up. And this is 1 versus 3. I don't think that you're going to take that one, Canyon. The chain, he just takes Bristle for a walk, and Humanoid grabs yet another one. Gen.G, they'll trade as they often do for the turret in the mid lane, but that is 2 kills going over to Fnatic on the back end of it. And there is nothing in this game. This is dead even right now.
See champion, try to kill champion, Phil, and get killed.
Gentlemen, you know, a lot of people online criticize LEC gameplay, but here it is, welcome. This is a classic LEC game. Gen.G seems more than happy to buy into it.
They really are. And out of literally any single LCK team, Gen.G's the most unlikely today. If you told me this was T1, I'm like, yeah, of course. You know, they love getting dirty, they love going down. But in this game is kind of, I'm flabbergasted.
I'm picturing Gen.G like backstage talking to Coach Kim and saying just like, they look like they're having fun. Like, can we do that too? Like, are we allowed to do that? Well, I guess the answer is yes, as Kiin gonna take down Humanoid. This guy's descend on a Razork, and he is just in a blender. The double bubble was almost there, but the flashes going to come through here from both of the archers on the side of Fnatic. Oscar loses 50% of his health bar, but he also loses his mid laner and jungle, and that should mean the Drake going over to Gen.G.
Canyon Sejuani is just terrifying. When you pair that up with Chovy's Aurelion Sol, he's 2 levels up over Humanoid. He's almost going to make it 3. even though Humanoid has been finding these kills, the farm just hasn't been there for him.
Oh dear. Oscar, well, he's very, very tanky. Good sidestep on the bubble there as well. Now, he's just looking for the opportunity. Lehends going to spend some time in the sky, and the piercing arrow going to take him out. Just not where you want to be as a squishy Nami.
I was waiting for the Humanoid to take that TP. That's the type of game that we've had. Nice punish there, and yeah, it's good that you highlighted because yes, Humanoid has found himself 8 kills, but he's still only 400 gold up on Chovy, who is going to be, as we've seen in these team fights, such an insanely big issue to deal with.
And also, Peyz is like a full, well, BF sword over his lane opponent. We talk about how chaotic it's been, but Peyz has still been finding a lot of kills and resources. Humanoid, bro, I don't. Oh, actually, that one was fine. He wasn't punished for that. I thought that's what the engage came off of. Oh, this is what the engage came off of. This is what I mean by the aggression is not tempered with Humanoid. He is trying everything in his power to find these fights.
From an emotional point of view, I get it, because he's the fed one. He's the one who needs to do the damage if they want to contest the objective. But in practice, Canyon probably not the guy that you want to try and do that
Probably
to.
Not. Canyon is more than happy to take that test.
He will press R. He absolutely will, and he indeed did. It's only 1,000 gold in it though. Gen.G with a bit of an advantage there. Baron has just spawned. Swam into that pit, and now that is another objective to look out for on this map. I think this is still anyone's game though. We might be able to get to a game 4. It is still possible.
I do want to highlight though, and this is something that has been very consistent and I think is a really big problem, particularly when you have champions like LeBlanc who thrive in Fog of War and in picking up individual targets, is that the mid lane turret is again standing. As Canyon he's mercs, he's fine.
Yeah, point blank arrow, not exactly something he cares about too much.
But it means that you have so much less pressure in the mid lane. You're also playing into Lucian, who is one of the best tools to consistently keep those mid lane waves cleared and pushed in.
Oh, there's another singularity. The ulti actually comes down as well, but it's only under Razork. Fnatic gonna eat that. It's not too bad.
Kiin still sitting bot lane, doesn't have TP, remember. This could be a good fight opportunity for Fnatic.
Yeah, they're all just taking the Hex Gates over, all 4 of them. Oscar on the bottom side of this fight, but now he's 1v1 against Peyz. Dashes his way out, good tidal wave onto the bubble. Going to connect as well, but where's the follow-up? It's the Dragon.
4 versus 5!
Yeah, and Humanoid's clone gonna come on through. They're taking more base gates. Kiin doesn't care. He's taking down a turret on the bottom side of the map. The Baron gets mad at Noah, and now the culling comes on through. Good flash from Razork. Gets him out of the way of that one, but he won't have that tool now available.
But Kiin is still pushing.
Yeah,
He's been pushing
he's
this whole time. If he's able to get this turret, he's gonna be sitting on what, like... he's been sitting on this Phage and Mantle for a really long time. He doesn't actually get it, but one more wave as... Oh!
Arrow gonna connect! And Humanoid able to catch up. The Vayne should just explode. Just another spell is necessary here as the Ghost, the tumble, and he's looking to get himself out. There's the teleport coming in, and Kiin's now turning around. Chovy is just flying after Humanoid. And I think they've safely saved the Vayne. Saving Private Kiin on the bottom lane.
They cut him out, guys.
Oh my goodness, guys. TPs, if they're up, they're not going to be up for long. I can tell you that right now, and I want to draw your attention. Humanoid's TP coming up in a few.
But, hey, you know, Oscarinin has Spellbook, so it's a
that's
trade-up.
It's
a trade-up, Eddie.
I mean, what an exciting game. I know that Fnatic were not considered favorites coming into this matchup, but they definitely have been delivering in a way that I did not expect. Humanoid has to commit both the W and the ulti, which means he kind of runs out of steam here, but he knows his cooldowns are up soon. If he can just get in range, which forces Kiin to use the Ghost, we returned alive. The Dragon spawns in a minute's time. Dragons are primarily in Gen.G's favor, but with the Herald secured by Fnatic, they're going to drop this mid to see if they can gain control.
Yeah, that mid turret actually absolutely massive as well, gives Humanoid so much more space to play with. As Jun is going to dive into the Herald and then really does not want to do that. The ulti comes down once again from Chovy, knocks up 2, but Razork now going to try and go for the counter engage. Humanoid gets in amongst it as well, as Kiin is his target, and he can understand why. The culling just softens up everyone though, and now Fnatic has to get out. That burst damage, just absurd. And the flash forward from Peyz, he does not want to be executed, and he will not, because Humanoid is now dead. Noah suffering the same fate. Kiin just doing some Vayne things here. here in the middle of the team fight, and Noah is actually going to survive.
That's a 1-for-1. Razork on the flank, I think he can't go for that engage. The Dragon is open for Gen.G's taking, but remember the respawns are going to be coming through. No TP available on Humanoid means that Gen.G should be able to secure it.
I love that he's looking for it though. Razork's like, come on guys, we got another one in us, but it's not enough. And unfortunately for Fnatic, this feels like yet again, the fight feels even, but mid lane turret goes to Gen.G. Hex stack, gonna go to Gen.G unless Razork can make it over, but oh, he might be able to with the blast cone.
Yep, should be able to get in here as,
He didn't have flash, so like if he goes in and dies,
himself.
it might set up Baron, so I get it.
Decides not to take the gamble.
It felt like the kind of game where he'd just get in there and hope, you know? As we'll check it out once again.
The ulti comes down once again. 4 versus 5 initially. Jun gets chunked very low, but Fnatic, looking at the HP bars, thinks it's good. But Peyz with the culling melts through Fnatic, and then look at the devastation here. The passive combined with Nami melts through Humanoid. I think it's the Liandry's, the Comet, the burn from Red Buff perhaps, who knows?
Or First Strike.
It could have been any of them. And then Kiin just overstepped slightly. He thinks he's got a kill on the Noah.
He was trying to headbutt him, I think, with the tumble.
I tumbled into a Varus Q.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He would have had the kill had the tumble gone through, unfortunately for him. But it didn't quite finish.
Yeah, he was trying to counteract the arrow with his forehead, and it didn't quite work out.
Somehow Noah has a bounty.
All right, well, there's another ulti to connect.
And there
Noah
it goes.
is very dead. That bounty that you were talking about immediately collected.
So glad you spotted it, Vedius. Otherwise you might not have known.
And now Chovy once again breathing, but Humanoid wants to stop that. He's going to have to get out of there, though. Good crescent guard from Razork to keep his distance from Gen.G. But they are still bearing down on them. And now Kiin's running amok. Once again, he gets into position, but the chain is fantastic. They've got too many threats, though, and it's now Peyz that dives on. Manages to kill both of the solo laners. And I think that should be Baron here for Gen.G.
Fnatic, they just get hunted down. Gen.G 5 members strong. See the Baron. And there's going to be no one standing in their way. A convincing team fight with Fnatic having no answers. Mean that Gen.G is poised to sweep the series.
Here it starts off Noah. Canyon, they're
Nice
getting
smite.
the smite on the edge of night, right? Noah feeling safe, has both summoners available as well as his spell shields. But against Canyon, that unfortunately isn't enough. And the amount of extended chase that you have with Nami, Aurelion Sol with his slow and his singularity, and a Vayne passive, like you're just not going to get away. If you're committed to a fight, it's going to be to the death. And unfortunately for Fnatic, in this case, so much damage available here. Yeah, if he doesn't tumble into Varus Qs and dies, Kiin gets just...
Yeah, if he's 1v1ing a Sion on the side of a fight,
he's getting the Silver Bolt procs, man, but also farming the stats.
Peyz is just continuing to get stronger. 8-4 and 7 now the kill score. Remember, he was 4-4 and 7 earlier. He's only continued to get stronger. His positioning in these fights has been fantastic. And Fnatic now find themselves once again with their backs against the wall.
It has certainly been, the big story for me in this series has been the fact that Peyz has stepped up so much in comparison to his previous domestic performances. But now, speaking of stepping up, that is not what you want to be doing as Oscarinin, and he is going to be taken out here by Chovy, another kill under his belt, and the skies descend onto Fnatic once again. Razork going to be taken down exceptionally low. The turret will now be taken in the mid lane as Kiin is just getting things done. That should be the execution, and Humanoid's able to take down Canyon, but he's sacrificing himself for it. The 1-for-1. They might be okay with it. I guess he's going to take something, but I think, yeah, Kiin is just taking names and turrets all across this map. He just presses up on Nico's stealth, and he just wipes the floor with them. Both the mid inhibitor and the bot inhibitor will be taken down, and this should be the series here for Gen.G in this moment, as they're looking to move further forward in the upper bracket here at MSI. The LCK first seed proving they look like exactly that.
A dominant game 3 from Gen.G as they cement themselves as one of the favorites for MSI. A messy game 2, admittedly, but games 1 and games 3, they showed that they were willing to get down and dirty with Fnatic, and they were able to come out on top every time.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think game 2, definitely the closest, but even game 1 and 3 for Gen.G standards were, they were so happy to scrap. And it's something that I think made the series
the expected result, I think, for many, the 3-0. But the way in which we went about it, I think, was very different from what we expected. Expecting much more of the traditional Gen.G style, where they slow down the game. Not much slowing down. I don't know how many deaths Lehends had. Was it like 6, 7, 8?
It was a few. One of them wasn't a real one, though, Cronicler.
Oh, one wasn't
actually. You know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry.
I actually think that this gives... It's good for both teams in my mind, right? I think a lot of people expected a 3-0 from Gen.G, but I think a lot of people also expected that this series would look like the LCK First Seed just rolling over the top.